Well, it's been 5 days since the Manitoba Progressive Conservatives chose their new leader provincially. Fort White MLA Obby Khan was selected as the party's new leader, narrowly beating Wally Daudrich. The PC leadership race was triggered by the resignation of former Manitoba Premier Heather Stephenson. She stepped down as party leader in early 2024. Now, the results were calculated under a new weighted ballot system. The data shows Khan was more popular in Winnipeg and in Brandon, and his competitor Wally Daudrich was the popular candidate in non-urban constituencies. The question is, will Khan be able to expand the existing PC vote in Winnipeg and Brandon? The CBC's Bartley Kives is here to walk through how he unites the party after all this. Good morning.
Good morning. I am not going to unite the party, okay?
Fair enough. Mean what you say, right? What was different about the way that the PCs chose their leader this time versus Heather Stephenson in 2021?
Well, in 2021, there was a very, very short leadership race. Brian Pallister, the former premier, resigned, and the party set up a race with very, very short timelines. Not a lot of people had the opportunity to get in there. And Heather Stephenson, who was a cabinet minister, had been a cabinet minister, assembled a very large group of caucus members around her. And in the end, it was Shelley Glovers, a former Conservative MP, who stepped in and said, she was running as another person, as another candidate on principle. And the entire race took place in a matter of less than 3 months. And this one. Well, sorry, forgive me. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, expand, please, because we said the system changed, right?
Yeah, well, the system changed. Sorry, this race was conducted over a very long period of time, and it took place. The candidates had 6 months to sign up and 6 months to campaign, and the way the vote was tallied was different. Instead of it simply being one member, one vote, there was a weighted system that would award points to candidates based on the number of votes in their individual constituencies. So if theoretically there were hundreds and hundreds of votes in one constituency, they simply divide up the vote on a percentage basis and award a certain number of points. In the end, you didn't get these huge numbers in that they thought could have happened, but the entire system was set up so that nobody could just stack the vote with tons of new party members in one particular place. So you couldn't get, let's say, everyone in a single town, let's pick one randomly, Grunthal, coming out and voting for one candidate, and all of a sudden you've got like the Grunthal party leader.
Got it.
Sorry to the people of Grunthal, I just chose you randomly.
So why did they move to that system after the 2021 leadership contest?
Well, due to the protracted nature of that contest and the fact that they didn't get all the ballots out in time, there was if you recall, Shelley Glovers launched a legal challenge of her race. She lost to Heather Stephenson by 363 votes, and the court determined that there was no deliberate attempt here to rig up the ballot, but there were many, many inaccuracies. So the party had a study. It was commissioned by a Glovers supporter. It was run by a Glovers supporter and a Stephenson supporter, and they came out with these new rules and these new ways to run a party leadership race in a much less contentious manner.
So we know now Obby Khan won the riding with 50.4% of the available points. It's the point system we're talking about.
Yeah.
What does that look like on a riding-by-riding basis then? Can you expand on what I said in the intro there?
Yeah, so what happened was Obby Khan won most of the constituency associations, one for each of the constituencies inside Winnipeg. He won most of them. He won 25 of 30. He won 32. He got most of the ones in Winnipeg, and Wally Daudrich got most of the ones outside Winnipeg, and they
and he got most of the ones in Brandon too.
He got all of them in Brandon.
Obby?
Yes, Obby got both of them in Brandon.
He took the cities.
He took the cities, and he was campaigning saying, look, I'm going to be the person who's going to be able to win because I'll be able to increase the party's vote in Winnipeg. The party got reduced to 3 seats in the 2023 provincial election in Winnipeg, and then they lost another one in the Tuxedo by-election. And you can't really, there's 32 out of 57 constituencies are in Winnipeg. So if you don't have any representation here, the sort of utility of electing Obby Khan for the Wally Daudrich for the party would have been minimal if he's already popular in places where the PCs already have strong support.
Now, if this were a race decided by votes, the old system, not points, who would have won?
It would have been Wally Daudrich by 53 votes. In terms of raw votes, Daudrich got more votes.
Still Close though, right? Close
very
on
close,
points,
very,
close,
very,
close
very
in
close.
the old system. If he'll use it.
So like not an overwhelming, but if the party is, if to get not say which candidate, not to talk about which candidate is better, which candidate had a better platform, but to talk about which candidate is actually poised to actually make gains for the party on an electoral basis or theoretically, this would strongly suggest that Khan, not Daudrich, would have would give the party more runway.
You spoke to Obby Khan. You asked how he's going to win over more PC voters in places where he wasn't strong. Let's have a listen to that.
I think that starts with rebuilding our trust and relationships with Winnipeggers, right? Manitobans as a whole, but your question is specific to Winnipeg. Now, I realize that's a vague answer, so to dive down into the details, that means actually getting out and meeting them, listening to them, and presenting them with a plan that is going to address their concerns and actually show them real results when we get back in government, right? So when it comes to affordability, when it comes to crime, when it comes to healthcare, but that all starts, first of all, so we have some work to do as a party to rebuild that trust. We got to rebuild that relationship. I know there's only 2 city MLAs right now with us, but we have a very strong caucus that I believe will put that work in.
What are the relationships he's talking about when he says gone wrong?
Well, he's speaking in very general terms. I think we know where they've gone wrong. I mean, that 2023 provincial election campaign alienated Winnipeg voters, and we saw that in the result that reduced them to 3 seats. And of course, you and I have spoken a lot before about the landfill ads. Not just the decision not to search the landfill, but the decision to campaign on that. And the party has a lot to do to come back from that. Now, the interim party leader, Wayne Owasco, apologized completely, not just for the landfill ads, but for the decision not to search the landfill. Now, during the PC leadership race, Obby Khan did not fully support that apology. He did suggest that the communication, the ads were not sufficiently empathetic, but said that the decision not to search the landfill was the right decision at the time, given what the Stephenson government knew. So he's got some work to do with Winnipeg voters. There was also his role as the face in the 2023 election campaign, as the face of the parental rights campaign, would never fully explain what that meant. Now, Obby Khan had often been asked, why he... Go ahead. You were going to jump in.
I'm interjecting because he was on our program just like 2 days ago, and he spoke to that. And so he actually said he wants to reopen looking at the Manitoba, the Education Act. So he's still sort of talking about having concerns there. And then on the issue of the landfill, he slightly softened from what he said when he said he wouldn't say this was a mistake. And he moved towards saying that he would support a search on the air. So I just want to make that clear.
Sure. But in terms of, I'm going to tell you, I asked him in my long form interview in March 7th, I said, Obby, do you not realize that many people see the term, like you always frame parental rights as allowing parents to know when their kids are being bullied at school. I said, do you not realize that term is seen as a transphobic dog whistle by a lot of people? And I used that precise term. And he said, yeah, I actually found that out after the campaign. So the first time he did say on March 7th that he is aware that was a transphobic dog whistle. But he had, during the campaign, I asked him several times, kind of pleaded that he did not know.
We got to go to headlines, Bartley. Thank you for all the clarity here. And people can read your piece online. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.